Well, it was just so exciting. I mean, it was like the most exciting thing I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, music moved me, rhythm moved me. Rock and roll is like, I'd heard, jazz and, what my parents' pop music was, on their LPs. They were into classical music and jazz also. But when the Beatles came out, it was a movement. It was literally a global movement. And of course, it was the music of my generation. It was simple, great melodies, great energy. They looked cool. They acted cool. I just wanted a part of that. There was no question. They were the best version to grab our attention with charm, with incredible vocals, with incredible beat, incredible pop songs. I mean, there was tons of rock and roll had started. Jerry Lee Lewis, who I played with him until he died. There was Little Richard, who was amazing. I could go on and on. But the thing is, the Beatles just put it all together at the best level on many levels. It was just all came together. They had, like I said, the press liked them. It was one of the bands that your parents liked them and the kids liked them. It was acceptable, and the timing was perfect. And they were relentless. They kept coming up with better and better material. It was like there wasn't like one good song on the record. Every song on the record was pretty damn good. When I got fired after 2 days of being in the studio, I was devastated. I was crushed. I felt overwhelmed. I felt like a loser. And I didn't understand, but I didn't understand, it's not about what I want to play. It's not about me. It's about serving the song, serving the artist, serving the band, serving the producer, everybody. It's about, I was starting to become Tom Brady. Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, was like, he can't win Super Bowls by himself. He's got 10 guys with him on that team. And I went, oh my God, I got to learn how to be a great drummer for this guy, for his music. And my North Star is to get the song on the radio to be number one. What can I contribute for his music, his songs, to get that song to get on the radio to be number one? I didn't know any of that shit. In college, they don't teach you that. There's no manual. Nobody tells you that. We're in the lounge, we're playing pool, and he keeps hitting me on the head with a pool stick, and he kept pushing me, and I just completely got lost it and started I started throwing things around the room, because he pushed sugar in my face or something. We were just being kids, and he made me crazy. He started running down the hall, and I threw a beer bottle at him. I missed him, but he came back into the room, and we were face to face, fist to fist, ready to go at it. He looked at me, said, "Are we going at it?" And I realized if we started fighting, I'd be fired in like that day, and I realized this making this record meant more to me than some stupid fist fight. The only time I spoke to Bob Dylan was I'm sitting in the studio in the actual control room in a chair with my back to the door, and he walks in and taps me on the shoulder. I turn around and says, "Whoa, it's Bob Dylan." He says, puts his hand out and says, "Kenny, Bob Dylan." And then that was it. And I never spoke to him again. He was just very mysterious and kind of quiet and reserved. And the first recording that day, he started sort of messing around the piano, and my instincts told me, start playing with him. Nobody was there but me and him. We start playing this song called Wiggle Wiggle, and I'm jamming with him, and all of a sudden the band hears we're playing. They come running in. Thank God the engineer hit record, and that, pretty much that was the take. The first time we went through it, there was one day I'm recording, and he's like in the same room with me. He's got glasses on, he's got a hoodie, maybe a ski hat on and a hoodie over it. He's got big motorcycle gloves on. He's kind of hiding, and he's right there, and I'm staring right at him. We never said anything. We just played. John was in the King era, and me, the bass player, and the guitar player Larry Crane, our bodyguard, and one of the background singers, and the pilot. That makes 6. Was in a Cessna 320, and we were partying pretty hard. We were young. We were drinking and just being and having a good old time. And all of a sudden, I heard the autopilot go off. And how you know that went off is you hear a ding. And Toby, the bass player, had talked the pilot into making us go up. The idea was to go up toward the moon and then drop it and free fall. You free fall. So if you don't have your seatbelt on, you're starting to float through the cabin. You know, and the 265-pound bodyguard didn't have a seatbelt on, so he started to float, and all the liquid came out of our drinks, floating through the cabin. Flight plans were starting to work its way back, and our faces are compressing, and then he levels out, and then you level out, and everything just crashes and down, and you continue flying. But in this particular case, when we leveled out, all the lights on the dashboard are on, flashing, and you hear a dee, 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 dee. And what you don't want to hear a pilot say or a surgeon say is like, oh, shit! And it's like, what? And all of a sudden, cut, the plane stopped, and now we're starting to float down. Now, thank God those small planes have a glide ratio. A glide ratio drops slowly. It's not like a Learjet or like a missile. So it's kind of floating, and I'm looking. And the ironic thing is we were somewhat near where Leonard Skinner's plane went down. We were like in Mississippi or somewhere, and you're seeing lights, and we're getting closer, and I'm going, I thought, in my mind, I'd read that when you plane runs, if the engine stops on a plane, or the plane's engine stops, you can't start it. That's what I thought. So I'm sitting there going like, we're gonna die. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he got it going. And what had happened was, this is one of these planes where at the end of the wings you had these, like, I think it were the gas tanks. Wherever it was, I think it was the gas tanks at the end. The gas had kind of, because of the free falling, and the gas had come out of the lines, and he had to, somehow get it back in the lines and start the plane again. When we landed, I got off the plane. I laid face down on the pavement and kissed it. Oh yeah, damn right I would. I'd love to own a jet. You kidding? I love it, man. That'd be so cool to say, hey, I'm part owner of a jet. I'd love that. What? Forget the yacht. Forget the 100 homes, or the 2 homes, or the 3 homes. I'd take an apartment and a jet. Call it a day. Hey, if the right offer, I haven't gone after it, but if the right offer comes across my table, I'm there, man. I love that idea. Oh, man. That'd be the coolest thing. Come on my jet.